I'm currently at the level where I'm, as a mother of a small baby, have to like feed my baby day and night. First of all, we need to work it out whether those who are in education are hungry or not themselves. In order to create your own product, you have to be a creator. But what you can see now, it's the still old like paper process. Schools and teachers still collect tons of unnecessary school reports and so on. Conditions haven't changed much, actually.
From Soviet times. Do you partner with governmental authorities on
Actually, we
projects?
can. So whatever helps our educational system get better, we are working with local education authorities, with the Ministry of Education, with private groups. It doesn't matter because we are doing this our joint projects in order to improve educational system.
Greetings and welcome to QI Podcast. I'm your host Elnura Bakan. Today we have young and talented leader in innovation, education and strategy spheres, Nurmukhamed Dossybayev. Welcome, Nurmukhamed.
Hi.
That would be wonderful to start from your education background.
Yeah, so I did my bachelor's degree in pedagogy as a teacher of English as a foreign language. And then later I went to Cambridge to do my master's degree in philosophy, Master of Philosophy in Education. And after that I also did a second bachelor's degree in public administration in a local Kazakh university. And the rest of it is like practice.
So you started your practice right after Cambridge?
No, my first career experience was in 2009. I started as a school tutor.
Here in Kazakhstan?
Yeah, sure, in Kazakhstan.
In Astana or?
In Taraz city.
In
So when I
Taraz.
was doing my bachelor's degree, in parallel with that, I was like working at a school for gifted boys of Taraz.
Okay, great. Could you please share some thoughts about your Cambridge time?
It was like a year of like great experience. I did my master's there, so I went there because I had some questions about educational reform, especially in secondary education. So I decided to look for answers with the help of Cambridge professors at the Faculty of Education. And my interest was how to use educational technology to like improve educational outcomes of children who are learning English. Yeah, so but there I look also for digitalization of secondary education, and it was like a year of educational experience where I also learned like educational research methods. Yeah.
Well done. I think that Cambridge experience gave you a lot of new ideas, and of course we're gonna discuss these ideas during our podcast. You said that you did some research at Cambridge, and what was the topic of that research?
So I looked for how e-learning was implemented in Kazakhstan. So if you remember, in 2010, there was a big national e-learning project, and it was on a nationwide level, and there were huge problems with that. There was all the like corruption, and the outcomes were not good as expected. So my research was on how e-learning actually should be implemented in Kazakhstan. Like not only e-learning but also digitalization should better be implemented. So what are the barriers and the factors which help like better use the possibilities of technology? And as a result of my research, I came out with a couple of findings and made some recommendations to like government officials in order to improve digitalization. And I think it's very important even now. So even my research was conducted in 2015. So after 10 years, it still keeps its actuality.
Very good. So, do you think that with these new technologies, education should be better than it was without these technologies in education?
Yeah, sure. Because in a developing country like Kazakhstan, we have huge problems with the shortage of great like professional teachers, and that's why. And another problem is that we have a lot of students who are migrating from like rural areas to cities, and also we have a lot of schools like being closed every year, and that's why there is a problem of good teacher shortages all over Kazakhstan. And but by shortage I mean that for 93% of all Kazakhstani kids studying in a two-shift schools, which means they spend only half of their day with a teacher, whereas the rest of the day they should spend either alone, or if their parents can afford it, they go for different like extracurricular subjects and so on. That's why for those kids which don't have, whose parents don't have opportunities to like cover those extra costs, we can offer and should offer the possibilities of educational technology. But for that, we should help them to get equipped with those technologies. The second thing is to teach, to help them learn how to use the opportunities. And that's how we can like shorten the gap between the like those students in terms of their learning progress.
Very interesting. But I think these technologies also may have some shortages.
So look, for sure, as a part of my research, I found out that students which come from higher socioeconomic backgrounds, their adoption and use of technology differs from those students who come from families with less SEC. So according to that, it's matter of time where we should allow those kids who are growing up in families where there is a lack of technology. We should allow them and help them and give them opportunities to taste those technologies somewhere. And the best place it's a school. So for that reason, we should, as a government, as a country, equip every single school with high-tech technology, and so kids at least go and touch and experience and practice those innovations within their schools. The second thing is we have to teach teachers how to use those technologies. And secondly, we have to teach them methods and pedagogical approaches, how to teach their kids use technology not for like
For fun and
fun
video
and
games.
like playing activities, but for learning activities. You see, so and and third thing, probably we should like spend some funding in order to help those families to buy some gadgets for their like houses. Probably the best gadget would be like a notebook or a personal computer, and but for sure it won't be helpful without internet. That's why I actually see how the government tries to spread high-speed internet all over Kazakhstan, and it's very good initiative actually.
I agree with you. How do you ensure that digital tools are enhancing using these tools for the benefit of these kids? That these technologies are not distracting these kids from real education.
So again, it's about leadership of someone who actually understands how technology can influence both positively or negatively. So that's why I feel like we should invest in teachers. But before investing in teachers, we should invest in school leaders. So, for example, imagine a school which has a lot of technology and a lot of investment in teachers, but their headmaster, like head teacher, doesn't really know what is it about, and still keeps the traditional and old style methods of school management, let's say. But if a school head teacher adopts himself technology and uses its opportunities, possibilities, and shows a kind of a role model, then other teachers should also follow that kind of leadership.
Very good point. I agree with you. We need more leaders in education in Kazakhstan. And do we have any probably governmental or non-governmental programs in this direction? So government or non-governmental organizations, they pay for the adaptation of these people to new technologies. Is there any kind of good?
I don't think so, actually, because any reform should start from the authors of those reforms. So, for example, if we talk about digitalization of the whole school system, the Ministry of School Education, and later the local education departments and people who work there, and the whole processes which are there should also be digitalized. But what you can see now, it's the still old paper process. Schools and teachers still collect tons of unnecessary school reports and so on. Papers and so on, yeah. That's why there is a good beginning, actually, at the Ministry of Education level. There is a system called NOBD, so National Educational Database. National Education Database, NED, right? And which collects all data from schools or in even preschools. And even if you go into eGov system, and if you have a child, you can look at which school, at which grade, at which parallel your kid is studying. So
is it open data?
So it's private data which is accessible for you if you are a parent. So it's a small report in terms of where your kid is studying. So there is a good beginning, but it's just only a small portion of what needs to be done. And if a whole school process, school management process will also be digitalized and optimized, and teachers start feeling that their burden of a lot of tons of school reports, paperwork, decreases, then that's how you can now talk to them about using and implementing technology in their practice. And so every big reform should start with and begin with reformators themselves. But in Kazakhstan, unfortunately, how the school reform takes place, or maybe any other reform, it's top-down approach. So those who are at the top, they create reforms, and those who are at the bottom should implement and adopt reforms. And in education, it doesn't work like that.
I agree. Look, if we are talking about education and digitalization in education, as soon as I'm also engaged to digitalization projects, I understand that first of all we need to reveal those processes that should be digitalized in the schools. So
Exactly.
we need probably first of all some kind of research, some kind of revelation of the business processes in the schools. And schools are different, as you said. Schools, there are schools in rural areas, there are schools in big cities and mid cities, etc., and they are very different from each other. If in the rural schools we have one business processes or several other business processes, in big cities there are another business process, right? So did you, like, maybe if you had any kind of chance to arrange some kind of projects on, first of all, creating some kind of research on engineering or revealing the processes in the school before creating some reforms?
Probably how many years ago? In 2018, we initiated a school transformation project in Astana. It was a state school, number 54, and we worked it out with the local education authority and the Ministry of Education, and we tried to implement a couple of innovations in the transformation project, school transformation project. So in the process of that work, we've seen that before adopting a big high-tech innovation and so on in school level, we should first of all create basic, we should cover basic needs at the school level. So look, so you are going to give big technology for those teachers who are hungry, who are living in a small one bedroom house with their husbands and their 3 kids, and on top of that, this living condition it's not that flat doesn't belong to them. So you see, so first of all we need to work it out whether those who are in education are hungry or not themselves. A hungry body, a hungry mind won't be able to adopt in things about innovation, because they need something to go into their stomach, but not only their stomach, but their kids, right? And that's why at that school we first of all started, so our research had shown that we need to create basic conditions. First of all, we transformed all the school toilets. Then we improved the cleaning system. So just basic cleaning, you see. So when in this old method, cleaners used to clean the whole big school square meters, right? Then we bought some creatures. There's a brand, the Germany made. What's the name?
Cleaning instruments.
Cleaning instruments, yeah. Karcher or Karcher, I've forgotten the brand. So we bought it so to help those cleaners improve the efficacy of their job. So the whole school floors are very clean, tidy, and have fresh air, good smell, you know. Then we improved the toilet system. So we just made it from the zero, the whole toilet system. Then we equipped all school teachers with brand new personal computers, bought to everyone a personal printers, scanners, and then improved internet system. And after that, we also conducted a lot of team building projects, where we just spend time to get to know each other better, to know what's going on, not in their work process, but in their family process. So, basically human to human interactions without like speaking about job, Then after that, when teachers started seeing in us someone whom they can trust, to whom they can bend upon, and then there began a new stage like dialogue, As a result of dialogue, we came to a point where we can ask each other to put more effort. So it was not like a top-down approach. It was like a collective partnership approach, where because teachers are they will be continuing to getting paid even if they don't do what we ask them. Right? You agree?
Yes, of course.
Because in their job responsibilities, there isn't a point. There isn't a responsibility where they have to adopt and use high-tech technologies. That's why when we've done all of the stages, then teachers themselves, they want to be more efficient, and they're looking for the help in terms of explaining and showing them how to be more effective. After all of that stages, we started to conduct different trainings where those teachers who are eager to learn, they learn new things, and they get our support in terms of how to implement those innovations. And after that, students began to see those, positive outcomes. And as a result, it influenced their learning progress and achievements. And finally, at the school history, several kids got into Nazarbayev University. Some kids got into like Hong Kong University, and later, year by year, those achievements became a new normal.
Very good.
Yeah, but for that, as you said, we have to start with the research, not with implementing something, but looking, trying to understand what's going on. What's the problem? What are the reasons for that problem? And what are the solutions?
I agree. We have an issue with information gathering in any sphere, I think. And it doesn't mean that this relates to the statistics or the problem with statistic agency, etc. No, it's just basic research, and it should be done each 2-3 years, because everything is changing so fast. And as soon as our economic condition is changing in the country, it means that it affects everything. So if we go back to rural areas, I read some research of one of international organizations on the rural area education and rural area schools. And I was shocked a bit that, especially during COVID times, those schools in rural area, they suffered a lot. As you said, internet should be in those rural areas, so people, kids, and even teachers could educate them and re-educate and adapt these technologies. So my question is very simple. Of course, we will discuss some your modern and creative, cool projects in big cities like Astana, Almaty. But have you visited rural schools in Kazakhstan?
Yeah, for sure. I visited different kind of schools in Kazakhstan. Even not only rural schools. When I was in as a vice head of local education authority in Shymkent, I even visited schools which are located within the prisons. So I have quite an understanding of what's going on in terms of different contexts. And for sure, maybe 10 years ago, I visited some rural schools as well, and the conditions haven't changed much actually.
From Soviet times.
Sure, because we have to understand that it's very easy to improve rural schools if you have enough investment. So, but we all know that investment is going more to city sites. Why? Because there is a migration, so there is a statistics. Even if you will be doing investment in rural sites, people won't stop migrating. New generations won't stop migrating to cities. That's why government also looks for the right investment. And the rural schools condition won't. I don't think that it will change fast in like couple of next years.
My next question will be about. We will come back to rural areas and reforms and so on, but for now, what kind of projects and initiatives are you managing right now?
So all my life, like professional life, is dedicated to like improving education through various sorts of projects, and some of them are currently I'm working on a school development. So I'm investing in a new school. But it's more than a school because it's more it's more than a traditional school. So a project called Hyperion, and so we began it as a school for now only for boys, a boarding school. So we're trying to create a product, educational product, which can be exported outside of Kazakhstan. But before I worked on a project called Astana Garden School. So for sure it's a very good project, but it's very difficult to export it outside of Kazakhstan. Because like international context is very different. That's why big school projects are very difficult to scale, because there will be different people, different expectations, different cultures, different needs. But it was a project for like the Kazakhs. And another thing which I'm doing with my partner Gabit, we like joining our forces and resources in order to launch and help other people launch more good schools. So like Kazakhstan.
You look for investors? You have an idea and this management, how to say this, experience?
Not only looking for investors, but also investors who are looking for like consultants, for those investors who only got money, investment, but don't have any other components. So we are helping them to establish new schools. But also we have our own like interesting school projects pipeline, where we are looking for partners, for investment partners.
Do you partner with governmental authorities on
actually we can. So so whatever helps our educational system get better, we are working with local education authorities, with the Ministry of Education, with private groups. It doesn't matter, because we are doing our joint projects in order to improve educational system. Because both of us have our own like creative projects, but our joint projects, their goal is to like help our nation. to get better in terms of education.
It's so inspiring. I think that with Cambridge education, you could work in any, I don't know, investment banking or in any corporations, right? But you made a choice for this path, creating educational project.
We are trying to, at least.
Yes, I'm sure that you will do your best, and I believe that it will help. Since I see Astana Garden School, and I was mentoring one student a couple of years ago from the Astana Garden School, her parents asked me to mentor her. And I was inspiring her to study abroad, etc., etc. So I saw that she has brilliant education. By the way, why you stepped down from managerial role in Astana Garden School?
So because it was a paid position. Look, and another thing which I'm trying to do is to help educators to grow and transform themselves so they can be even more effective. As an educator in the past, I'm growing and going through different stages in my professional life. So I began my career as a teacher, then worked as a school manager, and later I became an education entrepreneur, like edupreneur. When I was working in Astana Garden School, I was a founding CEO and co-owner of this project. But I haven't invested my own money, so I didn't understand what does it mean to be an investor. So because in my mission, I have to work with different stakeholders, including investors, an important part of that. And I wanted to understand what is it like to be an investor. So I wanted to understand the investor mindset. Because when you are working with someone and you want to create great relationships, if you don't understand the mindset of those people, it's very different and it's very difficult, challenging to create those tight bonds. And that's why I decided to step down from this very good position with a very good salary. I exited, so I sold my shares in order to take my first funds in my life, and then invested it into my own projects. So that's how I obtained this investor mindset, because it's very difficult to become an entrepreneur if you don't invest and spend and take risks with your own money.
But how do you balance this a goodwill, which is not always about money, and this entrepreneur inside of you? Because entrepreneur wants to get more money, he or she wants to earn money and to be rich and have more finance to invest to a new project and so on. So how do you balance this patriot and this entrepreneur?
So maybe 2 years ago I would ask the same questions like you, because I would probably divide entrepreneurs into bad guys who are
No, I didn't mean that.
No,
but
generally speaking, we coming from Kazakh culture. We've all grown up with Aldar Kose storytellings, right? Where there is a good Aldar Kose and a bad business guy.
Buy.
Yeah.
There is buy.
So actually, after I started investing my own money, I kind of feel like my mindset and attitude towards buys is changing. Why? Because now I understand them more, and I really start respecting those guys who are doing entrepreneurship or business stuff. Why? Because the first reason is they are so effective. So if I would go back to my garden school experience where I had a lot of funds and people whom I manage, resources and networks, and a very cool project and a big tycoon, right? And if I would go back with that current mindset, believe me, I would be at least 2 times more efficient in terms of money I manage, in terms of investment I obtain, in terms of sales, in terms of quality outcomes of students. So it's all business mindset. It's all about efficiency.
Efficiency.
And for people who are in charge for the different things on a salary base, it's very difficult to become efficient because they are taking responsibility on a particular narrow focus. Whereas a business guy, he don't have that chance to look for narrow things. A business guy has a big picture, but also with narrow picture as well. That's why a business guy can be much more efficient. And that's why I now believe that every educator who wants to make some positive patriotic acts, they should go for entrepreneurship.
I agree with you because I also had that background of entrepreneurship, and I feel what you are saying. But that's great how you explained, because, especially in education, during those times, like 10, 20 years ago, most of people and most of entrepreneurs, they didn't consider education area as a good area for the investment and for money growth, etc., etc. But what is your comfort zone?
Look, for a person who is growing in terms of mindset, the biggest comfort zone is to stay in your previous mindset. So for me as an educator, my comfort zone was not to think of a profit. So just to dedicate myself to serving, like to working on a particular direction, focus. So that was my comfort zone. Whereas as an entrepreneur, it's you have to get out of this comfort zone where you used to look for a particular focus, and you as an entrepreneur have to look for the whole big things on a wide perspective, and not only look like with an bird eye view, but also you have to get down into every detail. So my comfort zone is to stay at a particular place, whereas growth is there where you have to also go deep down and also get out of that to the bird eye view, and then again the deep down. So where you have to change your states, where today you are looking on a strategy level, but tomorrow you are going into operations level. And as a beginning entrepreneur, it's what you have to do. Change your states very fast and nearly every day. But when you have a stable project with a break-evens, right, where your project generates enough funds, so to cover all the needs of your employees, and to cover the needs of your clients, and everyone is quite happy, that's when you can take a stable position. We're looking and working only at the strategy level. Yeah. So for me, that was my biggest challenge and the comfort zone. I wanted to stay just on a employer level, when I just pay money and looking for the job gets done by my employees. So that was the biggest challenge and problem. And it doesn't work like that.
Yes, but now, what is your comfort zone for right now? Because you are an entrepreneur, you don't have any comfort zone, right?
No, if I want to be a real entrepreneur, I should forget the comfort zone term at least for the matter of my project go into break even.
Yes, but when you gonna enjoy your life?
Probably maybe next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
But right now you're not enjoying your life, or you are enjoying.
No, even so, we're enjoying our life. Sure, we have family, we have kids, we have time to spend with them.
Okay.
So it's not a like war process, you know.
Yes, yes, that's true. You know, why I asked that? Uh, once I've heard the speech of one politician, and he said that they had election process, then those like governing years, and he worked so hard. And at that moment, he said that during these years, our families and our parents and our close ones, they were supporting us that much. We didn't belong to these families, and we even didn't belong to us because we were working hard and we want some kind of results and so on and so on. And I heard such speeches like a lot from famous entrepreneurs, from people who are working hard and have those great results. And I still believe that people can have this work-life balance. Some people say, no, there is no work-life balance if you're having some great results, because you have to some kind of suffer, right? So what do you think about that?
Or again, so I feel like it's all about the stage which we are undergoing right now. As I said, so in a business project, there are different stages. So cycles, right? So cycle of like a baby being born. When the cycle when a baby starts like walking by itself. So and cycle when your baby became a grown up. So for sure, in the as an example of a mother who like takes care of a child, a baby. So a business guy also takes care of its businesses. And business guys they have different businesses, right? But one of their businesses is a baby level, other businesses are on like a mature level.
Yeah, mature or teenager level.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's why attitude and approach and time that they devote will be different. So entrepreneurs usually they have only one project, whereas business guys have different projects but on different levels. So when one project gets the maturity level, business guy shifts its focus to like a new projects, but not also own focus, but also resources which a business guy derives from grown mature projects. It invests those monies and funds to a new projects. So that's actually what differs business guys from people who are who are working as an employees. Because as an employee, every year the only thing you can change is your position. And like responsibility, like direction. Where as a business guy, you change like projects, not change, but you create new projects. You start new projects, new responsibilities, and every project you start should become profitable as soon as possible. So I am currently at the level where I'm as a mother of a small baby have to like feed my baby day and night, you know. But any baby usually takes like from 1 to 2 years to be fed, right?
Yes.
That's why. So now I'm now at my second year of feeding our baby. Yeah.
Great example, I think. Nurmukhamed, we are all I think that you've also probably more or less born closer to those times of Soviet Union. I mean, maybe after the just collapse of Soviet Union time. It's history, but still, we have the heritage. People say, during those Soviet times, school education system was great, blah blah. Especially, people were reading a lot of books and etc. etc. And math was great, chemistry, physics, etc. These all disciplines were great. People say, because I was kid, so I don't know how it was, but still we have that heritage. Do you think that we have it's like more than 30 years we are independent country and we have our own educational system. Do you think that someday when it will be, when we have our own great Kazakh educational system, so as you said, that we could export it to other countries, and even other countries would learn from our educational system, which will have our heritage, maybe traditions, great ethnical impact. We have more than 100 nationalities here, so it's like lots of different multicultural. So what do you think about that?
So I think it's very basic. So you cannot export something which doesn't belong to you. So if we believe that current educational system which Kazakhstan adopts, it comes from the Soviet Union, we won't be able to export it. In order to export something, you have to create some your own product. But in order to create your own product, you have to be a creator. So you shouldn't be an adopter or like a user, right? Consumer. You should become a creator. So, but when I say you, I mean whole educational system and stakeholders, especially teachers. We have like nearly 500,000 teachers working in educational system, and if they are creating something at their own level, creating their lessons, their content, their lesson objectives, their books, and so on and so on, then we can talk about creating our Kazakh educational model. But if our teachers, their current potential capacity is enough only for adopting existing resources, which was created by some other countries, right? Then we are not at that stage. That's why we have to develop a kind of a mindset, which you popularly name a growth mindset. So a growth mindset means that an educator's mind is open for new things and also creates new things. Whereas a fixed mindset is about working through ready standards, ready books, and so on. And that's why it's a matter of whether our educators and educational leaders will have growth mindset or not.
Do you believe in growth mindset of Kazakh educators?
Again, it depends on whether we will work towards improving growth mindset.
So you're saying that it's like a rhetoric question, that it is open question, right?
No, currently, in order for educators to adopt growth mindset, school system should go from current standardized curriculum to open curriculum. So currently, whole books standards are sent top down through the ministry to schools. A school teacher cannot decide what to teach, how to teach, whom to teach, where to teach. So a school teacher doesn't have that option, doesn't have a choice, doesn't have a voice. That's why.
So where is the innovation then, right?
That's a question. So if you want a Kazakh educational system to create a new model, you have to have enough minds who can create this new model.
Very good point. In your opinion, who embodies modern and future Kazakh person or Kazakhstani person?
I feel like it's a new generation, newly born, because the old generation, they are doing what they can, but the new generation can do more than we expect. So I feel like we have to invest more in new generations, our own kids, our students, and all parents should also continue the same stuff. So invest more in their kids and invest more in their education, and that new generation will create a better future for all. Whereas current grown-ups, they are doing what they can, and it's very difficult to change a grown-up mind, a grown-ups minds, because it's already what it is. So it's better to put the effort and resources and time to changing and improving and growing in the right way, right direction, in new minds. That's why we are in education.
I wish you best of luck, all the best in your future endeavors and current endeavors. And you are working on great projects, and I believe in you and in people like you, Nurmukhamed. By the way, for closure, what do you read right now?
So I read different books dedicated to growing up boys. Because my
Project.
new project is about like creating a product which helps educate boys in the right way. So that's why So my current books are related with how to educate and help boys become men.
Man, very interesting. I wish you all the best, and may you create great men.
Hopefully. Thank
All
you for
the best.
inviting.